Katie, you've got a stimulating announcement.
Yes, Jesse. I have discovered coffee.
Never heard of it. What is that?
It's a drink. It's brown, which is not... If I were just like designing a drink from scratch, I wouldn't be like, brown,
No.
That's the color.
Drinks should be like bright neon green, like Ecto Cool
Yes.
in a juice box.
Yes, or like any sort of dew, like a bright blue dew.
How many dews are there?
Probably...
Isn't there just one mountain?
No, I think there's like a red dew as well. Ask Andy about it. Andy.
Well, Mountain Dew Code Red.
Yeah. So I recently discovered coffee. This is not something I've spent much time drinking in my life, but we got a like a little home espresso machine. So I've been making coffee in the morning and drinking most of it. But I've had this recurring dream since I was like 20. I started working in coffee shops when I was in I guess high school and then college, and then after college I was a barista for a long time, even though I never drank coffee. But I've had this recurring dream, like it's like the anxiety dream that people have, that, you know, you realize that, oh shit, I'm enrolled in school and I forgot to do all of the work for the year. My equivalent of that is that I'm tamping espresso beans and I can't get the tamp right. And so I figured, like, if I bought an espresso machine and I could just once in my life, like, tamp the espresso right, it would end the dream. And I think it's worked.
So I blacked out for a minute. You'd had this dream long before you got the espresso machine.
Oh, yeah. No, I got the espresso machine because I was sick of having the dream.
To solve the dream.
To solve the dream. And it worked. And so I think other people should do this. Like, if you have recurring dreams that you, like, show up to class naked, you need to go to a class naked.
Enroll in a 4-year degree.
Don't do any of the work for the school, for the semester, and then show up on the last day completely naked, and you will never have the dream again.
Okay.
Should I be a life coach?
So you're saying don't chase your dreams, conquer your dreams by doing the thing you dream about in real life.
Act them out, literally. Yes.
So if you keep having a dream where your teeth fall out,
knock your teeth out.
Get your teeth removed.
Yes.
Knock your teeth out. Well, I'm excited for you, Kitty. My own journey with coffee, I think it started age 17 or 18. I specifically and vividly remember summer, probably 18 years old, getting a big iced coffee and feeling that buzz, that life-affirming buzz from the caffeine. These days, I don't get the buzz at all. I really just drink coffee because I'm addicted to it and to stave off the headache I get if I don't drink coffee. So
you need a new drug. This needs to be progressive.
I'm on enough drugs.
Meth. How about meth?
I started with like a slow release instead of Adderall. I forget what it's called, but I got prescribed that.
Oh, is it Vyvanse?
It's Vyvanse, yeah.
Is it? Oh man, I was on that for like a day.
It's a whole
story.
Day.
Does not mix with weed. Put it that way.
You say that as though it's just let's just quickly unpack this. You're surprised that a slow acting stimulant designed to last 16 hours did not mix well with weed. What did it do to you?
No, and I had to choose one or the other. I remember I was in Philadelphia. I was at some like queer dance party in Philadelphia, and I started having a true out-of-body experience. And there was a party photographer there, and the party photographer kept taking. I still have some of these photos, some photos of me, and I looked very high. God, 20s were fun.
I will make sure not to mix the two. Before we get into the main, sorry, go ahead, Katie.
Do you ever think about the fact that like you'll never do a keg stand again?
I never did a keg stand.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I've never blacked out from alcohol.
That I don't believe.
I have puked once.
No, you puked once since I've met you.
From alcohol?
In DC at your friend's house.
Oh, you're right. I puked twice.
That's it. This is very hard to believe. Your stomach is far too strong for your Jewishness.
Well, I'm just too big to black out. You'd need a lot more than that. How many keg stands have you done in your life?
I can't even count that high. Numbers don't go that high.
If you did a meetup and if you wanted to do a keg stand, I know it would go against your whole drinking
sobriety
more
thing.
moderately. Yeah. But you could. I'm sure our fans would be happy to lift you up. Before we get to the main thing, there's no one whose judgment or counsel I trust more than yours.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm right about the thing I'm about to tell you I'm mad about. I didn't really prepare this well.
Okay.
The New York Knicks won the championship. I live in New York. I had joked to you that I thought the city would burn down. The city did not burn down. It was I mean, it's not my team. I didn't like participate, but I wandered around as everyone was.
You didn't participate?
No,
I thought I saw a picture of you hanging from a lamppost, although that might have been a Hasidic Jew.
Did you see the twerking one?
No, I didn't.
I don't have a link to it, but there's a video of a woman up on a lamppost, and we get this mid-confrontation. This other woman is trying to pull her down, like basically by the underwear, and the woman on the lamppost responds by starting to twerk. It was a great New York moment.
That is, look, let this be a lesson to everybody. Listen to this. If you are ever trying to escape from someone, just twerk your way out of it.
Exactly. I was hoping for Game 6 because I had tentative plans to watch with friend of the pod, Andy Mills, huge sports guy. Actually, he's a basketball guy. I wandered around. I saw everyone partying. I was like, oh, this is great, but it's enough. It's not my team. I'm going to go home. Now, I go home. I go on Twitter, and I see Andy No just feverishly any bad thing anyone in my beloved adopted city of New York does, any violence, any tension, any smashed window, eagerly retweeting that.
Well, Jesse, he's a huge Spurs fan.
Right, he's a huge Spurs fan. Now, tell me if I'm being biased here. Read this headline and subheadline I pulled.
NYPD arrests more than 60 fans in chaos following Knicks NBA Finals victory. The NYPD reported 4 people shot or stabbed and 10 police officers attacked, with 1 punched in the face and another hit with a glass bottle. Seems like nothing.
No,
it's not Philly.
No, I'm not even joking. Look, I don't want anyone to get stabbed or hit, but like this is a huge fucking city, and also the context of this was a Saturday night during Pride. everyone in the city is drinking all day. Yeah. It's the summer, getting slowly tanked, and then New York is a people like you don't understand. Like in sports cities like Philly or Boston or New York, it's like this. It just takes over the city. People are really fucking nervous about it.
But wait, can you explain the psychology of why a city? And I'm not saying that New York was destroyed, but there are. I lived in Chapel Hill when they won the what is it, NCAA championship?
Yep, you nailed it.
And when this happens, there's this like mob of students and locals on the streets, and they do sort of destroy shit. Yeah. And I just don't understand the psychology of that. Yeah. Like, what about joy makes you destroy your own home?
I agree. It's mostly joy. College kids in particular.
Is it just It's just straight up adrenaline and drinking?
It's adrenaline. People, It's fun to like light couches on fire, shit like that. I just want to look. New York's disgusting in a lot of ways, but like given the full context, these were mostly peaceful celebrations, is what I'm saying.
Mostly peaceful protests.
They were mostly peaceful pro-Knicks, anti-Spurs protests, and I don't like the fact just this type of sort of bottom feeding. Let's just blow up every horrible thing that happens everywhere. We frequently criticize that tendency on the left, so I don't think we should let Andy know off the hook.
What did Andy actually say? Do you have any examples?
He just kept tweeting and retweeting any like some people smash bus windows. That's bad. They should be arrested. You shouldn't do that. But in the grand scheme of a giant city, it was nothing. And it was probably Antifa.
It was Antifa that came in just to smash the windows under the pretext of the Knicks winning.
It was Antifa who allowed the Spurs to blow a 29-point lead. Anyway, so I just want to say that, but I hate to say it, but congratulations to the Knicks. It was a magical run. Katie, did you watch any of it? Do you know anything that happened?
I know that it was a magical run and that they came up from behind not a lead. What's the opposite of a lead?
A deficit? They were losing?
Sure. They came up from behind. Sounds very sexual.
All right, Katie, today we're going to talk about a strange story from British politics. You said they came from behind. That was very sexual. This is a story from the UK. Need a little bit of backstory to get into it. So historically, the British Parliament has basically operated as a two-party system. The Conservatives, aka the Tories, which is a cool name, whatever you think about their politics, and Labour. I don't believe Labour has a cool name.
The Lorries.
The Lorries. It's not a party, it's a lorry. Wait, Labour Party nickname. I'm not missing something. There isn't. Oh, Libor. A derogatory nickname occasionally used by critics and opponents to mock the party.
Oh, Labour like Libor.
Libor.
Okay.
Democrats.
Lorries is better.
There are some smaller political parties. They tend to only run in like specific geographical areas. So Scottish and Welsh nationalist parties. There's clusterfuckish stuff going on in Northern Ireland. I'm not going to even attempt to understand.
Let's not touch that.
No, actually, I think we should talk more about the Troubles on this podcast. There's also the Liberal Democrats, aka the Lib Dems. They're sort of a protest vote for middle class centrist types.
That's my party.
That's your party. The reasoned center. Mm-hmm. But really, the national elections are contested between the Conservative and Labour parties. Every general election since 1918 has been won by one of those two parties. This has been the status quo for a very, very long time. Katie, you are a resident European politics expert.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a great time for establishment status quo parties in Europe, or the best time?
I would say it is neither.
What?
Is that what did I get it right? A third choice.
You got it right.
Okay.
Although not too dissimilar from what's happening here, right. But the political landscape is shifting at the moment.
We're in an anti-incumbent bias.
Anti-incumbent,
which is the worst kind of bias.
You love incumbents. The status quo has worked well for you, and you're seeking to maintain it.
Yes.
Well, look at those trees. The fucking tree. You wanted the status quo of trees of your land bordering on a forest. They wanted to remove the trees, and you were opposed. I forget how that ended up. They are removing the trees, right?
They cut the trees. They cut them.
Oh, it's already done.
They thin the forest. Yes.
Okay.
Not as bad as I thought it would be.
Okay, so you are a status quo Lib Dem type, but yeah, all over Europe, obviously, and here, big populist uprising. In the UK, this is manifested most famously as Reform UK, which is led by Nigel Farage. A guy who campaigned relentlessly for Brexit, now wants to become the prime minister. Reform is like the type of right-wing populist party that has sprung up all over Europe in recent years. Their stance on things like immigration and the welfare state are conservative. Although I don't want to make the parallels too pat. It's different in most European countries. Their stance toward the welfare state is very different from here, and
right.
Even conservative parties are in favor of often stronger or beefier welfare policies than we have here in some cases. And
the immigrants are different. I'm just going to say it. They're different.
Yeah. I mean, they are different there. We will get into that. And Helen Lewis recently pointed out that for many nativist Brits, reform is actually not extreme enough on immigration. Mm-hmm. They won't deport every single immigrant. That has led to a splinter party, Restore Britain, Rest Brit. That's my nickname.
Is there a V in there somewhere?
There's not. There's Restore Britain. They are campaigning on the promise of mass deportations, and they haven't gone national yet. Presumably, the right-wing purists will then say they are not far enough, and there'll be a party called Restore Britain. Anyway.
The ultras.
Yes. On the left, there's also a populist party on the rise. That's who we're going to focus on today, the Green Party. And this is a really interesting example of populism and horseshoe theory and strange bedfellows.
Okay, so here, when I think of the Green Party, I think Jill Stein, I think environmentalism, kind of degrowth types. Are they really focused on the environment?
Do you remember when Hillary Clinton unfairly stole the election from Jill Stein? That was so unfair.
I interviewed her once.
Hillary Clinton?
Jill Stein, not Hillary Clinton.
What was she like?
It was on the phone.
Okay.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
On the phone. I can't tell you what she's like. In the UK, the Green Party was founded in 1990. There have been earlier similar parties for longer than that. For much of its history, it's focused on environmental issues. It got its first member of parliament elected in 2010. This was a woman named Carolyn Lucas. Once got arrested at an anti-fracking protest. Who amongst us hasn't? And she wanted the government to introduce a meat tax to encourage veganism.
That'll do it.
She also wanted ecocide to be listed as an international crime. This is like the
what is ecocide?
Murdering an ecosystem.
Okay, I assume I'm with her.
I'm using context clues and my deep knowledge of linguistics here. So that's sort of the platonic ideal of the Green Party type. Someone who's like, I charge you with murdering the planet, and I want that to be a real crime. Also easily ignored by mainstream politicians.
Yeah. Do you have sympathy for greenies? Like if we think of it in that classic sense.
Do I have sympathy for the environment?
Yes. Like is that it, like how when you're thinking of voting, where does the environment rank on your priorities?
I mean, I am embarrassingly remiss about following local New York politics. I don't think environmental issues rate very high on most of the sorts of races I would vote in. And then nationally, I don't really see feel like I have a choice about who to vote for in terms of red versus blue. I mean, this probably comes up more in places like where you live because you actually have nature and you have to vote against environmental policies like thinning the trees because it'll affect you personally.
Because I'm a NIMBY in every sense of the word. Really not in my backyard. Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit more complex because, like, I have come to the realization in recent years that, like, I would say that my number one issue is the environment. Conservation, climate change, these are all things I care deeply about. But I've also realized that there are some progressive policies that have been really short-sighted.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we don't have nuclear energy cannot all be blamed on the Sierra Club, but environmentalists made an effort to make nuclear. You get that?
That's really good.
In a way that I think actually did a lot of long-term damage. And this is changing. Like my sister works for an environment, like a well-known environmental think tank that's been around for many decades. And they just announced that they are supporting nuclear now. Just now.
I think these are not an area I know much about. Other than that, I know there are things that are bad that we need to fix. That's my strong take. I will say, just from reading a little bit about how things work in California, especially, I'm sort of being an abundance bro here, but I think there's a subset of environmental regulations in like cities like San Francisco or LA that I think are used to a crazy extent to derail building houses. So that's an example, I think, of what you're talking about in terms of like...
Yeah, except I like that.
You're right. You don't want houses to be built.
No.
But... yeah, so I like the environment. So 2024, the Green Party had its biggest share of parliament, 4 members out of 650.
Not many.
Not many. You could say that that's even less than 1%. I haven't run the numbers. I think that's under 1%. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to their environmental policies, it's just sort of a hodgepodge of lefty stuff, mostly along the lines of what you'd expect. So the party has enjoyed a recent renaissance. That is in part because of a new leader who wants to take them in a bolder, more radical direction. His name is Zack Polanski. He's a former Lib Dem who left the party when they wouldn't select him as a candidate for a member of parliament. He's been a member of the London Assembly, or basically their city council, for a while. And when he was campaigning to become Green leader, he actually explicitly said the party could learn a lot from the success of Nigel Farage, just in a sort of populist grassroots sense. And that actually comes from a memorable BBC article that I would like you to read a little bit of, Katie.
The Green leader says he, quote, despises Farage's politics, accusing him of sowing hate and division. Farage, when turning down Polanski's offer of a debate, said, quote, if you pick a fight with the chimney sweep, you get covered in soot. Going on to say Polanski, quote, has a fan club, all the heroin smokers. This is like saying the American version is you fight with a pig, you
wrestle with a pig,
get covered in shit. This is the British version, more demure.
But you forgot the second half of that aphorism.
What?
The pig, but the pig likes it.
The chimney likes it.
Yeah. You let the pig win. I don't think chimney sweeps like being covered in soot, so it doesn't translate completely.
No, I'm saying the chimney likes it.
The chimney likes being covered. Okay.
Yeah.
Zack Polanski was elected leader of the Green Party in a landslide, 84% of the vote. And since he became leader of the Greens, the party has grown a huge amount. So in May of 2025, about a year ago, they had 60,000 members. By December, they had 184,000. So they basically tripled in size. And the party has gone from strength to strength. They won a hotly contested, what the Brits call a by-election, basically a special election to fill a vacant seat in the northern constituency of Gorton and Denton in February. And in the May local elections, they won an additional 393 council seats across the country.
Okay, so this Zack Polanski guy, he's had a good run as Green Party leader so far, but who is he? Why are we talking about him?
Right. So the most basic things that people know about him are that he's gay and Jewish.
That's like this podcast.
Yeah, gay and Jewish. That would be a good name for us.
The Kike and the Dyke.
Have you said that before?
I'm sure I have.
It's pretty good, except I wouldn't be allowed to say it, and technically you're not allowed to say it.
Technically.
The K and the D. He's like a pretty charismatic guy, trained as an actor, good at public speaking, and he's got left-wing policies that clearly resonate with a lot of the British public, particularly people who feel let down by the Labour Party. And many of the people who've joined the Greens are those who supported progressive former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, and they've been somewhat politically homeless since he fell from grace.
Yeah, and the Corbynites, it's an intense group, right?
This is an intense group. Yeah, the most common parallel is to sort of Bernie bro types, and they feel very attached to Corbyn, that he got maybe a bit wrongly thrown under the bus, and they seem to be bringing some of that energy and loyalty to Polanski and the Greens. It's a bit complicated, though, because Corbyn actually co-founded his own new socialist party called Your Party. Not their party, Katie. Your Party. That had
throw down people.
That had a chaotic rollout, and that has 55,000 members, so it's like less than a third the size of the post-Polanski Greens.
All right, so what are Zack Polanski's policies?
So it's a mix of like fairly standard left-wing stuff with items that I find to be out there. Let me read each of these to you. I'm curious if we agree about what's standard left-wing. After each of these, either say standard left-wing or whoa, baby. Say whoa, baby if it's out there, okay?
Okay.
Raising taxes on millionaires and billionaires.
Standard left wing.
Nationalizing energy and water.
I don't know. That sounds kind of out there to me. Is that? But it's UK. Is that standard left wing?
I'd go a little more with whoa, baby.
Yeah.
I know from that one show I just watched that Scotland has some oil, so I guess you'd be...
Do they?
Yeah.
Is it whale oil?
Yeah, it's just blubber. Giving free meals to all pupils in primary and secondary schools.
Standard.
Recognizing self-ID.
At this point, probably whoa, baby. What do you think?
I think it's standard, but it's becoming whoa, baby. You would have said standard. Like, this is basically...
I would have said, yes. I would have said whoa, baby. Then I would have said standard. And now are we back to whoa, baby?
I think we're getting back to whoa, baby.
Okay.
Removing all women from prison.
That sounds like a whoa, baby right there.
That's a whoa, baby. I think way more. I don't think we imprison enough women. So it's the opposite of my.
Are we transitioning all women and then removing them from prison?
Presumably.
I'm sorry. Yeah, transitioning all men.
Then like introducing rent control, standard. Legalizing all drugs. I mean, I think that's a whoa, baby, but it's not that uncommon. Forcing all and then there's banning horse racing. I know you're in favor of that. Increasing immigration, forcing all drivers to retake their driving test every 5 years. Not sure where that comes from.
I'm in favor of that.
Dude, in New York, it's so fucking bad. Just the amount of like potentially fatal to pedestrians driving I see every day.
I'm ready for the mass adoption of the Cybertruck.
Polanski has
a Cybertruck for everyone.
Polanski has personally spoken out in favor of leaving NATO, and he wants to instead create a global alliance of European countries, Brazil, Mexico, and other global South countries to oppose U.S. imperialism. It'd be a fun conference, at least. I don't think the Brits would. I wouldn't want. I was going to say, I don't want the Brits to be catering that.
No,
Mexico caters it.
Totally. Brazil does the music.
England brings like good beer. What can England even provide? Maybe Indian food if India is not part of it.
Good call.
The Green Party is also the first British party to officially declare Israel an apartheid state that is committing genocide. They have BDS as a party policy, and we will come back to that later. Now, so like all good modern lefty politicians, Zack Polanski is terminally online. You can probably guess what platform he's most active on.
Blue Sky.
Or OnlyFans. No, it's Blue Sky. He liked 35,000 skeets over 12 months, according to Jessica the 80 Baby research.
Thumb must be throbbing.
A third of his... now, here's where I can relate to him. A third of the 35,000 skeets he liked contained his own name.
That could be... that's how you should handle Blue Sky, Jesse, is just name search and like every post about you.
He also tends to like posts which attack journalists who criticize him, also can relate. He's only been party leader for a few months, and it's been largely good in terms of exploding membership, but he's also seen a number of scandals.
Oh, good. What kind?
So one of them dates back to a 2013 article from the famous British tabloid The Sun. I'm really going to need you to read this whole excerpt. Titnotized.
Can you really think your bigs? Wow. Titnotized. Can you really think your boobs bigger? Hypnotherapist says you can boost cup with mind. Sun girl Casey Davis finds out with surprising results. What were the results?
Davies. I think it's Davies.
Casey Davies. Has the time come when we can burn all those uncomfortable push-up bras? Hypnotherapist Zack Polanski reckons so. He says he can boost your cup size using the mind alone. This is an extremely new approach, but I can see it becoming popular very quickly because it's so safe and a lot cheaper than a boob job, said Zack. In theory, it could work in other areas of the body too. There's no reason why it can't help nails grow longer and stronger, for instance. Why would anybody want that?
I'm not sure. I guess some women like long nails.
There's also...
Not lesbians.
There's already proof that hypnotherapy has helped a number of alopecia sufferers with hair growth. So can hypnotherapy really boost your bust? We sent 32B Sun girl Casey Davis to find out for herself. Okay, so several questions here.
Yep.
One, What was the result? Did her titties get bigger?
Thank you for asking. Yes, according to the article, Zack Polanski was able to use hypnosis to grow Katie Davies' bust size by 4 inches.
What?
Following a single session of hypnotherapy.
2. What year was this story published?
2013. I already told you.
Oh, you did? Okay, so this is all right. So this is a pre-party leadership life.
Right. So 2013 it's originally published. It gets a second round of attention in 2019. At that point, he's in the London Assembly, and people were like, "Whoa, that guy in the London Assembly made a woman's boobs grow." So Polanski wrote an article on Medium in response. He said in part, quote, "I went on BBC Radio that very same week and made it very clear I never had or would offer this service outside of the context of the article, that I want women to feel comfortable about their bodies, whatever they look like." So he's basically saying, I wouldn't offer this service. I wouldn't take money for it. But when the Sun reached out to me and asked me if I could do it, I was like, sure, why not? Hypnotherapy can do anything. Well, he didn't say anything, but anyway, the BBC did.
But his career was as a hypnotherapist.
Partly, yeah. We're going to get back to that actually.
Was he a magician in the rest of his spare time?
I don't believe he ever served as an active duty magician. The BBC did its own investigation into the hypno boob job micro controversy. So, Katie, just read this, which sums up the whole thing.
How would you prove causation and correlation on that?
With hypnotherapy?
Maybe her titties just spontaneously grew 4 inches that same week. Maybe she was on her period.
It's true. It's an observational study. You would need a control group where you measure the breasts of women who didn't get hypnotherapy.
All right. So this is from the BBC. Zack Polanski's claim to have immediately apologized for saying that hypnosis could increase a woman's breast size has been thrown into doubt by a newly unearthed interview. Before entering politics, the Green Party leader worked as a hypnotherapist and offered a session in 2013 to enlarge a newspaper reporter's bust. Polanski has since said he was misrepresented and never believed it was possible, claiming he spoke to the BBC the day after the article to apologize. BBC News cannot find evidence of such an interview, but 6 days later he spoke to Radio Humberside to stand by the theory, saying the evidence is growing.
You know what else? You know what else is growing?
We've got a real Platner figure here. Does he have any tattoos?
It's just funny how he stepped in it here because he's like, no, I went on BBC Radio and I said otherwise, which brought BBC into the story, and they investigated and said not, like, he literally said the evidence is growing. That's a direct quote. So Polanski does not seem to have always been a straight shooter. In recent months, journalists have also unearthed the fact that he lied about being a British Red Cross spokesman. He'd organized funders for the charity. He wasn't a spokesperson. At one point, he'd been an actor sent in to do some sorts of role plays at the Ministry of Justice. He spun that into saying he worked at the Ministry of Justice.
So he did work at the building?
I guess that's what, right. I meant the building. Right. And he lied to customers about being a member of the National Council for Hypnotherapy and the Association for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. NLP is a whole other thing.
So he wasn't licensed.
He was not a license. He was increasing titty sizes without a license, which is
oh, that's bad.
Messed up.
That's bad. That's malpractice.
So this is various forms of resume massaging. Pretty dishonest, but it doesn't seem to bother his core constituency, which is increasingly fired up. And that brings us to the broader rise of the Greens and how they've suddenly become popular, because that's definitely not just about Zack Polanski. This is where the Strange Bedfellows thing comes in. But before we get to that, Katie, housekeep us.
We are a podcast. This is Blocked and Reported. You can reach out to us directly at blockedandreportedpodcast@gmail.com. You can also become a member. This is really the best and only way to support the show. Jesse, have you noticed that a lot of shows or small media companies are paywalling all of their stuff now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing that. But in order to keep this going, we need people to support us. So please do it.
Yeah, we do. We're dying here.
We're dying here. We have months or weeks left to live. Please become a member.
Don't say that's like that's so karmically unwise to say that.
Jesse has months or weeks to live. Please join us.
Jesus
become a
Christ.
member. We have some good stuff coming up. Our next Primo episode is going to be a look at the mythology of Marsha P. Johnson. I have been hard at work at this.
What do you mean mythology? She threw the first...
No, I know. I found who threw the first brick.
Andy Mills?
Andy, no. And we also do these live chats, typically about once a month. And those are quite fun. Those are also just for our Primos. And what else do you get, Jesse?
You can comment. There's a weekly comment thread. There's meetup groups. There's Primo meetup groups in cities...
across the
What are the
world.
two furthest cities I can name? Seattle to Amsterdam.
And you get to be part of the community. We have a truly great community. There's like, right now, I think we're down to 2 assholes.
Should we name them? Should we name it? I haven't.
No, let's not name them. I don't like to give them credit.
Okay.
2 assholes out of a community.
The ratio of assholes is incredibly low.
Yes. And you always have to have 1 or 2. I prefer to have 1. Right now we have 2, but you always have to have at least 1 heel with any community. The ratio is really good.
I think the one I'm thinking of is no longer in the community, but he was legendary. If it's someone else.
Yeah, he was legendary. He's gone.
We killed him. We had him taken care of.
Yeah, more have popped up, and then they will leave eventually once they decide that they want to stop paying $7 a month for a show that they actually hate, which I support.
Pope Hat got mad at me, as he sometimes does.
He would be great in our community. He would be a great heel.
Oh, Pope Hat, he's just a delightful man. But he was like, he said that Elon Musk should be killed. And then he, this got him attention as he wanted to, including from me. And then he mentioned how he got all these racist emails implying they were from my fans.
Did he post the emails?
I might be mangling the order here, some details, but he basically, he did not post the emails. But anyway, that's, as anyone who's been in our comment section know, we are opposed to interracial marriages, so it makes sense it would come from
our emails fans. Would be transphobic.
What a psycho, dude!
Maybe has he been talking to Freddie DeBoer?
He has been very blue sky for a very long time, and I don't want to drop names just to start shit, but okay, Noah Berlatsky was always Noah Berlatsky.
Oh, remember Noah? I haven't thought of him.
Remember when our most annoying lefty adversary was Noah?
Him. Bring him
Noah
back.
Berlatsky goes to Blue Sky, and it doesn't make a difference. But this radicalization of people like Ken White, Pope Hat, it's sad because at one point he was I think he still is capable of writing stuff that's sane, but then he's like...
Well, I mean, if you were getting inundated with racist emails, don't you think? What and also what would the racism be directed at? He's a white guy.
He's in an interracial relationship. I believe he has an Asian wife and his kids are biracial. He is
nobody is racist again unless is she Indian, then maybe. If she's
either way, whatever this is, it's not of all the things you could accuse.
Whatever it is, it doesn't exist.
If someone got an overheated email from a gender critical person, I'd be there are a few of those in our community.
There are, yes.
There are, just because that's an issue we've covered a lot. The idea that because in the same thread, he basically accused me not of being a great replacement guy, but of I would not criticize people who were in favor of the great. It's this real bank shot thing, and I've already spent too much time talking about it. The point is, Ken, we'd love to have you on to talk about our differences. I'm sure he'll.
Okay, back to housekeeping. Please become a premium subscriber. We need you. $7 a month. Really less than the cost of one coffee right now.
Actually,
it's about the cost of 1 gallon of gas.
In Brooklyn, a large iced coffee is currently running about $7. It's insane. Yeah. Thanks, Biden. Okay. Was that it for blotchreporterpodcast@gmail.com for tips and shit.
I already said that.
Did you?
I think that's it. Yes, that was the first thing.
Should we get back to the thing?
Yes.
So remember I mentioned those bedfellows? Strange bedfellows?
Strange ones.
Are you curious who they are?
Yes, I assume that someone is sleeping with their head on the foot of the bed and someone with their head at the head of the bed.
This is why people become premium subscribers. So, about 6.5% of the UK's population is Muslim, mostly Pakistani and Bangladeshi. Those are...
and they're all in grooming gangs. So
that's...
Let's not.
No, the spread of that. Look, this was a really serious scandal. We've talked about it, but the spread of that
Rupert
250,000 statistic is just.
I talked about it with Helen when she was on the show last.
It's just not. It's not great. If you want to take it seriously and care about getting good data. Right. So one unusual quirk of British electoral law is that Commonwealth citizens of the British Commonwealth, the once great empire, who legally live in the UK, they're entitled to vote in elections from day one. British Muslims are disproportionately located. Again, this is 6.5% of the population. It is small. But they are disproportionately located in certain parts of the country.
No-go zones.
Particular parts of... as Andy No found, there's no drinking. Particularly, there's parts of East London, Birmingham, and the northern city of Bradford. And thanks to the country's voting system, they are powerful voting blocks in those communities.
So they're like the Jews of Rockland County.
Yeah, I don't know if that's anti-Semitic, but yes, there are communities where Orthodox Jews have disproportionate voting power. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's go with that. So in the 2024 national election, 4 Muslims who stood as independent candidates, campaigning explicitly on a pro-Gaza platform, beat sitting Labor MPs. And collectively, they're known as the Gaza Independents because they're not in a party, and their main policies are centered on Israel. Mm-hmm. There's obvious culture clash here. So one of these Gaza independents, Iqbal Muhammad, made headlines for defending cousin marriage when the government tried to ban it, given that this is pretty common in the British Pakistani community.
Like what percent?
55% of British Pakistanis.
Wow.
According to
British Pakistanis
are married to their first cousins. Yeah.
Wow. That's like more than West Virginia.
Yeah. I don't know anything about cousin marriage, but in some places it's a apparently common thing. And you know what, Katie?
Which of your cousins would you marry?
Let's see.
Name them.
I actually have a lot of cousins, including many in New York. I will not be naming which cousins I would marry. But yeah, so these are sort of single issue politicians very much devoted to the interests of their Muslim communities. Now,
okay, wait. So did they ban cousin marriage?
So I believe this failed. I did find a Oxford University blog. Banning first cousin marriage would be eugenic and ineffective.
It would be eugenic too, I guess.
You are literally trying to improve the gene pool because of the damage cousin marriage can do.
True, but you could also say that banning sibling marriage is eugenic in that way.
Which I don't want to do. I do not want to do that.
Which of your brothers would you marry? I know the answer. I'm not going to say it, but I know the answer.
I'm just double checking. Yeah, it looks like it failed. Oh, this also became its whole other. Okay, yeah. That you can, if anyone listening wants to marry their cousin in the UK, you can still marry.
Thank
their cousin
God.
in the UK is my understanding.
It's legal. I bet it's state by state in the US.
I would presume so. Yeah.
Okay, in the United States, it is generally legal in Alabama, Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Massachusetts,
New York. Please say New York. Please say New York.
Maryland, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York.
Yes.
Okay. Legal with conditions, e.g.
the cousin has to be hot.
No, only if both partners are past reproductive age, infertile, or with genetic counseling in Arizona, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, Utah, Wisconsin, and banned in most of the remaining states. I think, unfortunately, in Washington.
There's been some interesting coverage over the years over genetic counselors in Orthodox Jewish communities because, like, everyone there is related and they pick their young people's spouses. So,
do you think that's why it's legal in New York?
I have no idea, but I think you just created a new anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. So I think we should move on from cousin marriage. Look,
this is something that Jews and Muslims have in common. We
have a lot in common. That's the tragedy. No pork.
Your penises and your cousins.
Overbearing mothers. Our penises. Okay, so going back to these Gaza independents, these politicians from heavily Muslim areas in the UK, they don't really have a chance of winning outside of those areas as they have very little appeal to non-Muslim voters or to voters who don't have super hot cousins. But the Green Party does have that base of support among sort of a subset of the white majority.
Oh boy, there's going to be some intersectional train wrecks here, aren't there?
And that's the direction we're headed. So the Green Party has piggybacked on the Gaza independence success. Now, for years, the Greens have campaigned against racism, and now they're all in on opposition to Israel's war against Gaza. So they're adopting many of the same strategies as the Gaza independents. So basically, in constituencies with a lot of Muslim voters, the Greens are running Muslim candidates who appear to care less about like fracking and meat taxes and more about Palestine. Mm-hmm. So
it's the cause du jour, yeah.
Here's a leaflet. Please describe this from the Gorton and Denton by-election. Just describe what you see here.
Okay, so there's 2 images side by side here. On one side is just a bunch of writing that looks like it belongs on an ISIS flag. Can't read it.
That's like actually kind of racist.
You know what those letters look like? They look like sperm. They look like wiggling sperm.
I'm not trying to just. I'm not trying to be woke. It is actually a beautiful script. I think it's more beautiful than the than our letters.
I agree with you, but it also looks like wiggling sperm. Do you not agree?
That is, I'll take this from here. Those are that's Urdu. The language Urdu. Maybe you've heard of it, which I don't know. To an untrained eye, the script looks a little bit similar to Arabic. It does. Now. Okay.
Wait, let me finish. And then on the other side, there's a white woman. This is funny. It's a white woman. I think her name is probably Haley. There's a white woman. She looks like her name is Haley. She, like, very pretty blonde woman. And she's wearing a keffiyeh. And it says, "Stop Islamophobia, stop reform, vote green on February 26th." Is she a stock image, or is this an actual, like, who is this?
No, that's a candidate. So she's a white chick, or as the Brits say, a pale bird.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the text is in Urdu, and it encourages voters to vote green to punish labor for its failures to act on Gaza.
There is just something funny about the photo of a white woman.
Her name is Hannah Spence, by the way. It was a Hannah, which I think Hannah was the next name you were going to guess.
Yeah, like just a photo of a white woman that says "Stop Islamophobia." It's an interesting image.
So what? And then now watch this video released by the Greens in the run-up to recent local elections. It's short.
Voting green
in Haringey local
elections
on May 7th
is a vote
against genocide.
As a councillor,
I will take
all appropriate steps to
uphold the inalienable rights
of the Palestinian people,
support efforts to prevent
and ensure accountability for
Israel's crimes of
genocide, military occupation,
ethnic cleansing
and apartheid.
Ensure my council is not complicit in
and does not help to normalise
Israel's violations of international law, including through the council
divesting pensions
and any other funds
It administers from
complicit companies
and through its procurement policies.
This
May
let's
turn
Haringey
green.
The craziest thing about this is it's just one person doing different voices.
It is not. She's lying.
All right, so who are these people?
Well, these are people running for office in Haringey Green.
All right, so these are candidates of various shapes and sizes. And
these are local elections.
And Haringey Green. Haringey Green. That's a
Haringey Green.
That's a real place.
The problem with English place names is you have no
real.
idea, do you?
No.
Like if someone made this up. If I was playing a video game and it was like, go get the enchanted sword. Where is it? Haringey Green. Sure. That sounds like a made-up place. But yeah, this is apparently a real place.
Okay, and so what do local officials there have to do with Gaza?
Well, very little. Like local counselors, as they're called, they deal with fixing potholes and building playgrounds for kids and matching you up with hot cousins in your area who want to marry you. But you're sort of seeing the same thing here you see in some lefty cities and towns, which is like the tendency of this issue to crowd out a lot of other stuff. It's sort of...
We can call that globalization.
It's globalization, right?
Is that... Yeah.
It's sort of like the Park Slope. I mean, Park Slope Food Co-op is different because that is even less important than the Haringey Green stance on Gaza, or like whether a tiny proportion of their pension stuff there's investments in. I don't know. You could imagine there's like some very bank shot connection to Israel. Right. But it's weird. It's weird for local elections to be about something that not only do Haringey Green councillors have no real control over Israel, like the Labour Party doesn't really have levers to do anything about Israel.
And okay, so historically, British Muslims, I assume they're mostly Labour Party members. I don't know why I assume that, because they're brown. Is that why I assume that?
Yeah, that's why you assume that, and you're right.
Yeah.
So in 2019, over 80% of them did vote for the Labour Party. But this is, I think, a genuine parallel. You know how in the US, the Muslims tend to vote Democrat. Mm-hmm. And then since the start of the war in Gaza, there was this push of like, why should we support you? You're not protecting Gazans.
Super smart. They were like, they saw Trump and they were like, that guy, he's our man in Gaza.
Worked out really well here.
The guy who moved the embassy to Jerusalem, that's our guy.
So yeah, again, setting aside the question of exactly what the Labour Party could do about Israel, that has been the line, is that we're not going to vote Labour because they're letting Israel off the hook. And in the UK, it's mostly younger Muslims who feel this way. Like there's been this unfortunate tendency in some circles of them being more radical than their parents' generation and more likely to abandon labor in favor of either the independent Gaza candidates and counselors or the Greens. So one example is this guy named Mothin Ali. I might be mispronouncing his first name, Mothin. He's the new deputy Green leader. He's from a Bangladeshi background. He was elected as a councillor for Leeds in 2024. Again, they generally deal with things like waste collection, but here's a snippet of his victory speech, just 30 seconds. It's a bit indistinct at first, but you'll be able to make out the ending for sure.
It's a win for the people of Gaza who have been Palestine. We will raise the voice of Gaza. We will raise the voice of Palestine. Allahu Akbar.
All right. Allahu Akbar.
So
got my vote.
We'll link to an interview with a conservative member of the House of Lords that like sums up the reaction from those quarters, which is like the Greens have gotten to bed with, pretty intense religious Muslim types.
Yeah.
And I saying Allahu Akbar does not on its own mean anything, but you can understand like from the optics are unusual for England.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Mohsen Ali's wife. She's wearing the full burqa. This is very unusual among British Muslim women. And there's actually an interesting promotional video he put out where he reminisces about growing up in Sheffield. And when you see pictures of his parents, his dad is clean shaven and wearing Western clothes. His mom has like a loose headscarf that's much more common among British Muslims. So this is an example of like the new generation being more religiously conservative than their parents were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would I gotta say, I'm not sure I would vote for a man whose wife was in like
a full burqa.
Niqab. I think this is like the full niqab.
But you wear sort of baggy clothes.
Well, the thing is, like, I would wear this outfit myself. I was actually telling Jana the other day that like my ideal outfit is like what Afghani men wear, like the long dresses.
It looks really comfortable.
It looks so comfy.
And I get so sweaty, just like a pillowy, I want like a muumuu, a Muslim muumuu. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's basically what it is. It looks really light. I mean, it's hot there, so I think it's probably great for hot climates. But they're like the visual of this is pretty disturbing.
I mean, but what?
I mean, I am sorry. I am assuming that she is oppressed because she's not showing her face in public. Maybe she chose this.
She probably chose.
Yeah.
I bet there was no pressure at all, and she just chose.
You know what? She was probably having a bad hair day.
That's like,
and like maybe her face is breaking out, and she was like, I don't want anybody to look at me. I'm just like, I'm on my period. I'm having one of those days. I'm just gonna cover up all of my face except for the slits in my eyes.
All right. Well, so let's continue on.
He's got my vote. I'm saying.
He does have your vote. You've changed your mind. There is a sense in which like the Green Party sort of seems to be attempting to capitalize on this younger generation of British Muslim.
This is so strange.
Yeah.
Like the Green Party like becoming like an Islamist party.
But so that's the thing is like there are strains of Islamism that have been a bit tricky to pin down politically. Obviously, Islamists tend to be quite socially conservative, but that often coexists alongside this sort of militant anti-colonialism.
Yeah. Are they going to start campaigning against gay marriage? And you know what? They might have to change their position on self-ID.
There have been the anti-colonialism is obviously left-coded, and oftentimes Islamist groups are at odds with sort of more secular dictators in the Muslim world, and that's often been the case in the past. So in some cases, like the Iranian Revolution, you had hardcore Islamists joining forces with more secular Marxists to overthrow a Western-backed ruler, although in that case that did not eventually end up working out well for the secular leftists. But we're now getting a new version of this sort of alliance in Britain, thanks to the Gaza war, and British Muslim websites like Five Pillars and the Muslim Vote are endorsing the Greens, a far-left party led by a gay Jew, largely because of this campaigning on Gaza.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it's been successful. Between the Greens, independent politicians, and a few others, there are now more than 570 Muslim sectarian candidates won seats in the recent local elections.
And okay, so how, like the local non-Muslim population, how are they responding to this?
Well, I mean, in terms of who wins the election, it's just the sectarian Muslim candidates just have the votes.
Okay.
The tension has more been, there's been some tension on the subjects you'd expect within the Green Party. So
gay shit.
When Mohsen Ali ran for deputy leader, he was the only candidate in the Greens who refused to sign 10 pledges about LGBTQ rights. Language like the acknowledgement that, quote, wholeheartedly that fighting for LGBTIQA plus liberation goes hand in hand with fighting the climate crisis.
Wait. I didn't think climate crisis was. I mean, it doesn't. But I'm like, could you explain how it goes hand in hand with fighting the climate crisis?
Yes, there's a. I mean, I'm going to say this is going to sound derogatory, but tell me where the lie is. There's this culty thing in like two online leftist circles where you say X and Y are connected, where X and Y are not connected. You're just supposed to say that. I have no idea how fighting for gay and trans rights goes hand in hand with fighting the climate crisis. That doesn't.
I mean, all I can imagine is like it's some geoengineering thing where you have a really, really big pride flag. Like really, really big.
That makes sense.
Really big pride flag.
So big and such a rainbow that it reflects light back out. There's also another one of the pledges he refused to sign was about, quote, fully funded and much needed support to all trans people, including trans youth healthcare.
Again, he's got my vote.
Banning conversion therapy, stuff like that, he wouldn't sign.
God, okay, so pitting trans against Gaza, who's going to win 2026? I think maybe Gaza.
At this point, I would like Gaza's odds. There was this rally in London at the end of March. Zack Polanski and Hannah Spence, the aforementioned white woman in the flyer, they took to the stage and they danced with gimps in BDSM gear.
What did the Muslims think about this?
Wait,
were the gimps wearing hijab?
Full burqas. A lawyer named Ahmed Yaqub, who is huge on British Muslim social media, and he's a lead campaigner for the Gaza independence, he called the dancing degeneracy.
Fair.
We'll link to examples of him urging Muslims to vote independent rather than Greens, and like an interview where he talked about. We'll also link to a tweet of a video from a Green campaigner talking about his own run-in with Gaza independence in Birmingham. He said that after Friday prayers, they threatened to beat him up because of the Green Party's because of the Green Party's pro-LGBT stance. So yes, there has been some tension.
Yeah.
One other example of this that I want to get your views on. There's been a video making the rounds in like conservative circles showing trans woman Eden Hills getting elected to lead city council. As she gives her victory speech, the aforementioned Mothin Ali looks on. Katie, describe this still to me.
Okay, you have a very tall trans woman with just like standing there, and then behind her is a dour Muslim man in a keffiyeh looking not happy.
I watched the video and I don't know. It's not a do-rag. It's like the traditional Muslim skull cap.
It looks like a do-rag.
Okay.
It's like what I wear to sleep in.
I watched the video. I'm not sure. I think he just has like the male equivalent of resting bitch face. But either way, this image of a trans woman who just won next to a very religiously conservative guy whose wife wears a full burqa, and that sort of says it all. It's a strange image.
He probably would have been okay with this candidate, except that she's wearing short sleeves. She's showing a lot of skin. If she were wearing a burqa, it probably wouldn't have been as big an issue.
One area of potentially unfortunate agreement between these two factions within the Green Party is the Jews. So the British left has obviously had issues with anti-Semitism for a long time. You may have recalled a whole brouhaha with Jeremy Corbyn. And among the British Muslim community, this is a problem. So since October 7th, anti-Semitic incidents have risen sharply in the UK. Terrorists attacked a synagogue in Manchester during Yom Kippur last year, killing one person, injuring 3 others before the police shot him and also a worshiper dead. A Jewish charity known as the Community Security Trust recorded its highest number of anti-Semitic incidents ever in 2023 and second highest in 2025. I do think anytime an advocacy group puts out stats on hate crimes, you should like carefully look at the methodology. I also don't think anyone really denies that like there's been a serious uptick in the UK. Things seem to get worse this year following the start of the Iran war. In March in North London, arsonists set fire to 4 ambulances. Yeah, fuck ambulances belonging to the Jewish charity Hatzolah.
Like ambulances notoriously gas hogs.
This was followed by a number of attempted arsons at synagogues and community centers in London. Now, I do think there's a tendency to blame anti-Semitism on the right. That's what British leftists sometimes do. I think these attacks are coming from the Muslim community. And in screenshots from a WhatsApp group obtained by The Telegraph, Green Party activists called Jews an abomination to this planet. In the run-up to the local elections, Green candidate Ifhat Shaheen was criticized for suggesting that Zionist funding was behind far-right rabble-rouser Tommy Robinson's marches. Also complained about Zionists having too much power in British politics and wondered if Israel is harvesting organs from Palestinians to alter Israeli DNA so they can pretend to have a stronger claim to the land they occupy. that seems very roundabout versus just building more settlements, but I don't know. Green candidate Saika Ali's social media post included an image of a snake whose skin is patterned with the Israeli flag wrapping itself around the globe. Not subtle, as well as this picture. It's a very stereotypical looking Jewish guy.
It's you.
Holding money? Wait, what's he holding in his right hand?
Money.
This is AI slop, but...
or maybe a playing card. Is he a gambler?
Either way, he's saying... And he's got a shirt. It's sort of like a football pitch, except the shirt has a collar, and it has a very poorly AI slop Star of David on it. Clearly supposed to be a Star of David. Anyway, he says, don't you know the rules? We went through the Holocaust, and now we get to kill everyone forever. Okay. Green candidate Sabine Myre posted on her own social media a picture of a placard which read, ramming a synagogue isn't anti-Semitism, it's revenge.
Jesus.
Green candidate Philip Brooks posted on Facebook, it takes a serious effort not to be a tiny bit anti-Semitic in reference to Gaza. Green candidate Mark Adderley, you'll notice a lot of these names are not Muslim names. These are also just the white greenies. Mark Adderley called Israel a cult and claimed that the Mossad shot Charlie Kirk. That's true. I have inside info on it. Green candidate Tina Ion had a Threads account now deleted with the name The Real Anne Frank. She posted, God's people, the chosen ones, tell me again not to wish death on these shits.
Jesus.
She called for every single Zionist to be killed, and she described this image she shared.
Oh my God. The text says Zionist juicer. Feet first, of course, and it's like some sort of
a
farm
wheat
equipment.
thresher.
A wheat thresher.
Just something that would mangle a human.
Yeah.
So the list goes on
these
and on.
These people are these like legitimate candidates? Or are these?
Yeah, they're candidates.
God.
We should obviously look. Several reform.
This is worse than like American candidates. This is worse than James Fishback.
Several reform candidates have also had scandalous social media posts on Earth. They just it's the same shit in the other direction. So candidate Derek Bullock posted on Facebook, just shoot the Packies on the spot. And that's like a genuine racial slur over there. That was after the 2017 terror attack on an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester. Candidate Glenn Gibbons posted on Facebook, can't believe the amount of Nigerians in town, should melt them all down and fill in the potholes.
Good God.
It's so funny. No, I was going to say America should not. It's weird to say. I think we're one of the least racist countries. I do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're not racist, but like, in the grand scheme of reality,
right?
Jessica Lady may point out that like Reform and the Greens are sort of, maybe there's a lack of professionalism because they're like they're newly popular parties. I don't know if that really excuses it, but it could be they don't have the infrastructure in place to fully vet people. But
they don't have someone to say stop it.
Don't be anti-Semitic. A lot of Green candidates have anti-Semitic posts on social media, and some of the
this goes beyond like run-of-the-mill anti-Zionism. This is
of course, the vast majority of what I just read is not.
Yeah.
It's way beyond that. If it was just criticizing Israel, I would not. You're allowed to criticize Israel, obviously.
Like Nick Fuentes shit.
Some of the people I just mentioned have been suspended from the Green Party or even arrested because the UK pretty intense about online hate speech. But fair to say that this is a big problem in the Green Party. And it's honestly been hard to keep track of who has been suspended and who hasn't. Because in the run up to the elections, it was like every day there were more anti-Semitic posts popping up. Even former leader Carolyn Lucas, from back in the day when the party's name was more about the environment than the sacred color of Islam, she's spoken out about this party. So back to Zack Polanski, who, interestingly, he's a rare example of someone who changed his name to sound more Jewish. He was born David Paulden. And his Latvian Jewish ancestors had adopted in that to stay safe, and he chose to reclaim Polanski after they adopted Paulden.
Is he going to change it back to Paulden to win more votes?
Well, so he is sometimes able to accuse his critics of anti-Semitism, which can certainly be convenient. And the Green Party will often refer to him as the only Jewish leader of a UK political party. Right. They mean at the moment. They've had them in the past. But like in April, a few weeks after the ambulance arsons and during a string of attempted arsons in Jewish neighborhoods in North London, Zack gave an interview in which he said, quote, there's a conversation to be had about whether it's a perception of unsafety or whether it's actual unsafety, but neither are acceptable. which is crazy because there's there's attacks and attempted arsons left and right. To say this is just a perception of unsafety among British Jews is insane. So I would say go back and listen to my interview with David Baddiel. I can't think of a better example of Jews don't count than this kind of bullshit. But either way, this was poor timing because a few days after he referenced that maybe this was just a perception of unsafety, Essa Suleiman, a Somali-born British citizen, went to Golders Green, one of the most Jewish neighborhoods in London, and stabbed 2 visibly Jewish men. Fortunately, both lived, but this attack was headline news across the UK. Now, after this guy, Katie, stabs 2 Jewish men, video of him being apprehended goes viral. Shows him lying prone on the ground. His hands are still holding the knife. They're under his body. The unarmed police officers tell him repeatedly to drop the knife, and they don't. They kick him in the head. I think this is partly because this is like what you're supposed to use if someone won't drop a knife. If you kick someone in the head, it will cause them to release the knife. Jessica, the 80s baby, did a little research on this. That's why she thinks they were doing it. However, not everyone interpreted that way. Read this tweet that Zack Polanski retweeted.
So essentially, his officers were repeatedly and violently kicking a mentally ill man in the head when he was already incapacitated by taser.
So
okay, so he just stabbed someone, and the problem
he tried to kill 2 Jews, and what people are mad about is the police were a little bit rough. In response, actually, in a rare break with standard protocol, Mark Rowley, the commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, actually wrote a public letter to Zack Polanski featuring the line, "Apprehending violent and dangerous criminals is a full contact and messy task, which may appear shocking to observers with little experience of policing in the real world." So Zack Polanski lacks the lived experience to evaluate that video. Polanski actually apologized, but right after that incident, his approval rating plummeted. He tried to claw things back by criticizing the Times for publishing what he accused the Times of anti-Semitism, but it's hard right now if you're in the Green Party to accuse anyone else of anti-Semitism. And this led to interactions like this. I'll be Zack Polanski. You be this guy who responded, Bennett Aaron.
Okay.
Yesterday in Hastings, in the wake of anti-Semitic attacks in Golders Green, I faced Nazi salutes. Today, the Prime Minister uses his office to attack the only Jewish party leader to score political points.
Were they all Green Party candidates?
Meaning were the Nazi people all Green Party candidates. So Zack Polanski has also been embroiled in a fresh scandal. He hasn't been paying the U.S. equivalent of a property tax, basically, while he lived on a boat on the River Thames. I would love to spend a few years
River law.
Things are about to get a little bit more chaotic in British politics because there was a election in a constituency called Makerfield, and the Green Party candidate had to drop out hours after declaring his candidacy. Katie, guess what the Times found on his social media profile?
A body.
Anti-Semitism, surprisingly.
Oh.
He said the Hatzola arson attack was ambulance arson attack was a false flag operation. That election became a two-way horse between Labour and Reform. Labour was the popular mayor of Manchester, Andy Burnham. He just won. He's going to challenge Keir Starmer, who's very unpopular, for leadership of Labour, and it's all going to become more of a clusterfuck. And sort of, I presume the weaker Labour is or becomes or is perceived as, the more influential Green could be, and the more these tensions are going to, I would assume, come to a head because, I don't know, or maybe there'll be a permanent peace between the Orthodox Muslims and the LGBT community.
How are hardcore Muslims on environmental policy?
That's a good question. I assume they're for it. I can
what
only
does
assume.
the Quran say about climate change?
It probably has the same stuff all the old books do about how the earth is good and God created and stuff.
Dominion, probably about God created it for humans to destroy.
Any questions, Katie?
No questions. Confusing times.
Confusing times indeed. This has been Blocked Reported, as always, and especially this week, we're produced with help from Jessica, the 80s baby. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.